Spoilers ahead. French waffles. Hello and welcome to Take Two, another movie podcast. I'm John and he is...
Jason, hello!
In this episode we'll be discussing two festive fancies. Bob Clark's A Christmas Story from 1983 and The Night Before from 2015. Firstly, Merry Christmas, Jason.
Merry Christmas, John. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely tip-top.
Fantastic.
Secondly, what have you been watching?
I've been watching Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
I'm eager to see that. What's
Yes,
that like then?
It's very good. It's a stop-motion masterpiece, I'd say. The only thing I don't like about it is the songs are really forgettable and not really necessary to the film. But I mean, apart from that, it's brilliant. The animation is great. Tilda Swinton is fabulous as she's like the wood sprite and Death in it. And you've got who else? You've got Christoph Waltz.
Oh, I love the Waltz.
Yes,
Hans Lander.
And Ewan McGregor as Sebastian J. Cricket.
Okay.
He's brilliant. Yeah,
Jiminy Crickets.
really good. And I watched an old one, Glenn Ross.
What was that?
Try saying that. Glenn Ross.
A bit of a masterpiece, that. No,
It
David
is.
Mamet.
Jack Lemmon is
Jack Lemmon. Alec
amazing.
Baldwin as well, right?
Yeah, he's only in a little bit of it. I mean, what the bit he's in is fantastic, but
He's fantastic in that.
he's only in about sort of 10 minutes of it. But the main film is, Al Pacino, and I think Al Pacino's fantastic, and I think Jack
Always be
Lemmon.
closing, correct?
Yes, yeah, always be close. And the leads. We need those leads. The good the good leads.
Oh, why this happened to old Gil?
Old Gil was based on him, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He says, taking a large sip of coffee. I've been watching Christmas-themed horror films on Shudder.
Brilliant. I've
the season.
seen the robot one. Tell me about the robot one.
Christmas Bloody Christmas from 2022 is the latest, well, up until the point of this recording. We're recording this on the 17th of December 2022. The latest Joe Bagos movie. I really like Joe Bagos. He did Bliss and VFW, which is a really, really good movies.
Right, I've heard of them, but I've never seen them.
I think he typically shoots on film, and you get that lovely grain,
Yeah.
like 16mm grain, and his films are so colourful. Really,
Wasn't Evil Dead filmed in 16? Was it 16?
I think the original one was.
Ah,
the
right,
original Evil Dead 1
Right,
was. Yeah,
okay.
but I think they had no money, so
Yeah.
Joe Bagos, colourful films, really, really interesting characters. Not the most likeable characters in
Right.
Christmas Bloody Christmas.
So you're happy they're dead when they die?
Well, I couldn't reveal any spoilers, of course.
Okay.
Having just said.
But a robot killing Santa is quite a good.
Yeah, so a robotic Santa goes horribly wrong, malfunctions, and goes on a killing spree. And this young lady kind of gets wrapped up in it. And I would like sequels or some spin-offs or something
Don't
like
they
that.
always do that, the robots? They always go on a killing spree.
It's itchy and scratchy and all over.
Yeah.
And I watched Game Over. Do you know what Game Over is?
No.
It's known under a load of things. It's also known as Deadly Games. It's a film from 1986. It's a French film.
Right.
And it's about this vagrant who gets fired as a mall or as a department store Santa.
Right.
And then he follows the boss home, to this mansion that she lives in. She lives with her son and her father. And the son basically home alones and sort of puts together all of these incredible booby traps to stop the guy from because he comes in, he murders the housekeeper, he murders the chef,
Right.
he murders the dog.
Oh.
And the kid kind of jumps in with all these high-tech booby traps and all the rest of it to sort of protect the manor. It's kind of infamous because the filmmakers of that film sued the filmmakers, or tried to sue at least. I don't know quite how it wound up. The filmmakers of Home Alone, saying you plagiarised her.
Well, they kind of did, didn't they?
I'm happy to have finally seen it. And this morning I watched Christmas in Connecticut.
Is that the Arnold Schwarzenegger one? Yeah, that's the one he directed, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Dreadful up until the last 20 minutes. If you've never seen it, I thoroughly recommend it. The last 20 minutes are brilliant. And they've just basically said, here's some money, Arnold.
Right.
Go do something. But mainly I've been playing Quake on the Nintendo Switch recently. A Christmas Story is a Christmas comedy film from 1983 directed by Bob Clark. I would say, certainly in my opinion, that Bob Clark is the king of Christmas. Having directed this and 1974's
Black Xmas.
Black Xmas. Based on Gene Shepard's collection of short stories In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash.
Yeah.
And partially Wanda Hickey's Night of Golden Memories and Other Disasters, boasting a cast including the likes of Melinda Dillon, Darren McGavin, Peter Billingsley, Scott Schwartz, Zach Ward, among others. Get the glue. We're out of glue. You used up all the glue on purpose.
Yeah. Oh, that Leggett lamp incident. We've got to get to that.
We will get into that.
We will get into that, yeah.
Just a bit of background. It was a bit of a sleeper hit. It did fairly well upon its 1983 release, but eventually became a beloved Christmas staple. Apparently, do you know? Yeah. Apparently, I don't. I've read about it, but I don't know for sure. Apparently playing for 24 hours on Christmas Eve on American TV network TBS.
Really?
Every Christmas Eve. That equates to about 12 consecutive showings on Christmas Eve every year on this TBS
So
network.
you could watch half of it, go and do something else, leave the telly on, and then come and watch the rest of it.
You could cook the turkey, couldn't
Oh,
you?
that's fantastic, isn't it?
Exactly.
Or you could just watch it all day long.
Or you could watch it all day long.
Until you're, like, physically sick.
I don't know if I could do 12 successive showings.
No, I think you'd hate it by then, wouldn't you?
Or consecutive showings.
Yeah.
A specific year is never explicitly mentioned in the film, but it's set around the 1930s, sort of late 1930s,
figured this out when it is.
Early 1940s.
Yeah.
When is it?
Wizard of Oz was recently released.
Okay, when was that?
Well, that must be, was that 40s?
I don't know.
It must 30s or 40s?
I thought you said you'd figured this out.
No, what I'm saying is there's a lot of
Right,
Wizard
'cause
of
the
Oz stuff.
Wizard of Oz is
There's
in
the characters in the parade.
Yeah, in the department store.
Yeah, the teacher turns into the Wicked Witch in the fantasy.
He does. She does, yeah.
And so, and there's ones in the actual Hickbees. There's
Okay.
some people around because the father says something like I'm off to a trip to Oz, or I can't trip to Oz right now, or something. At the end when they leave the store, he says something, I don't know, something to do with Oz. So I reckon it must be just after that sort of thing, maybe the 50s possibly.
No, I don't think it's that late. I think it's like pre-war, isn't it? Pre when America went into war. if that
Right,
makes
yeah,
sense.
pre-war then.
So
okay.
it must be somewhere
Okay.
between sort of obviously Wizard of Oz coming out and during that spell, if that makes sense.
And also the kid in line, he says my favourite character is the Tin Man, doesn't he?
He does.
The one with
yeah.
the goggles.
He
so
does,
so it must be
creepy child.
Yeah,
There's
must
some
be.
darkness in this movie, though, isn't there?
What I'm saying is, it must be in the public psyche that it's just sort of either just been, like any big movie that's just come out.
Yeah.
It's in the current psyche.
Zeitgeist.
Yes.
We follow adolescent Ralphie Parker as he plots, grinds and willfully desires a Red Ryder carbine action 200 shot range model air rifle. Of course, he'll shoot his eye out, refused and rejected by his teacher Miss Shields, a department store Santa, and his own beloved mama. Essentially told in a series of segments, or vignettes perhaps, chanting Ralphie's home life, the troublesome furnace, his school life, including a plot to woo and sway his teacher into his firearm cause, his interactions with his friends, a frozen pole, a blown tyre, a casual swear, show me how the piggies eat, a disappointing Ovaltine cipher, a sociopathic scut, a stunningly savage beating, a bowling ball to the crotch, red cabbage, palm olive, profanity prevention, smelly ravenous dogs, a fulfilled smoshed eyeglass prophecy, and a seductive lamp. I love this film. What do you think?
Well, to be honest, I started to watch it and I knew he was asking for the BB gun. And as soon as I realised he was going to have the BB gun, I knew he'd shoot his eye out, so I just turned the film off. And that was it. So I only saw about 5 minutes of it. No, I'm kidding. I love this film. I probably hadn't seen this film, probably till about 10 years ago, I think. Because at one point,
seen this film?
Yeah, because I think at one
interesting.
point you couldn't get this film in this country on anything.
No, you couldn't. You really couldn't.
Because I remember going into
been
HMV and asking somebody, do you have a Christmas Story? And she was American, fortunately. And she actually turned around and said, oh, yeah, we love that film over here. You can't get it here, she went. And I went, no, that's why I'm kind of asking. Yeah, you couldn't get it on any format.
I remember seeing this film when I was 11.
Right.
And it was on Channel 4. And I'd never seen this movie before.
I didn't know it's ever been on television.
Yeah, I saw it was on Christmas TV. And we just literally split up the day previously from school. So I was all full of it.
Yeah.
This was on. And I'd never seen this. And I loved it. And I believe Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was the film on after this. So it was an incredible day.
Yeah.
But the year after, I remembered this movie. And I'm like, I've got to see if that movie's back on. And it wasn't on again for another 3 years. I went through 3 years of checking that stupid little Radio Times thing, every year thing. And I'd not seen it until probably 10 years ago when it was actually released on DVD.
Yeah.
And yeah, the memories came flowing back, and it's just a
I
beautiful
think
film.
I think I first saw it. I know when I first saw it. 2008.
Wow.
I first saw it.
Oh, wow,
2008. I
so
bought
recent.
the DVD.
Right.
And I remember putting it on and watching it, and because it had such a reputation, a cult reputation that I knew about,
Yeah.
I was actually disappointed the first time I watched it because I think
you
I had
built it up.
Built it up, yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's still a great film in its own right, but I think because I built it up, it, but it is. I love it. I do think it's a great film, and the sequel that they did was wonderful as well. I liked that.
The Christmas Story 2 or the...
No, the
Right.
Christmas Story Christmas.
Right, I might need to have a word with you after
Right.
this show, because I tried to log in,
Right.
and it asked for like a verification thing. So I would have liked to have seen the sequel that you're
Okay.
referencing, but it asked me like, "Oh, you're viewing it on a different thing" or something like
Oh,
that.
no.
And I need to like,
Okay.
I'm sure our listeners love to hear about that. What do you think about the performances?
They're really good. I mean, Peter Billingsley is very
great,
good.
yeah.
He's great, and he's so lovable.
Yes.
You know, you really. It's a Christmas film that is from the point of a child and the magic of Christmas. You know, from a child's point of view.
Yeah.
And all the little fantasies that we all have as children.
These little vignettes.
These little vignette fantasies that
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we all had them as children of little things. I mean, maybe not as elaborate as Ralphie's, but
Not quite as vivid.
But yeah, I love the cast. I love the old man. He's the fierce furnace fighter.
I love Peter Billingsley, as you said. There's a real childlike wonder and innocence, as well
Yeah.
as that kind of childlike frustration. There's a stroke of genius getting him to do, certainly the fourth wall stuff, because
Yeah.
he has got that kind of look about him. That
He has.
He kind of is.
He's very cheeky as well.
There's an defying kind of wiseness to
Yeah.
him. Yeah. Has he done much outside of A Christmas Story? I know he's in
don't-
Iron Man, and I know he's been like a
I
producer.
don't
and stuff.
think he's done an awful lot. But I mean,
such
when
a-
you see him, like growing up, you
Yeah.
just see little Ralphie,
You
don't
just
you?
see
You just
Ralphie.
see that little boy.
As you say, I love Darren McGavin, and Melinda Dillon is the MVP of the
Yeah.
movie, and they are excellent together.
They are.
Do you know? I mean, I know there's like a 20-year age gap
There definitely
between.
is,
Well, there
isn't
is.
there?
I had to
Yeah,
Wikipedia
yeah.
it.
Well, that's why he's the old man.
It's kind of weirdly jarring. It shouldn't be, of course, because it's perfectly.
But in those
fine,
days,
but
they
it's
used to. In those days, they used to have like a 30-year-old man would marry a 16-year-old woman.
Right, that's
You know what I mean?
really creepy.
Yeah, I mean, my Uncle Derek, I think there was a 20-year age gap between him and his first wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zach Ward's Scut Farkas
Oh, Scut.
is evil
I
incarnate.
always thought his name was Scott.
No, it's Scut.
No, it's Scut, isn't it? Yeah.
Scut, who
Scut.
gets his just desserts. He does.
He
get
does, and
absolutely
it's actually
pummeled.
you don't know this, but it's a very life-changing thing, that brawl that they have when
Yes.
Ralphie beats him up.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
actually
There is a
changes
bit
the
of-
course
Yeah.
of Scott Farkas's life.
Well, it also shows a bit of sort of maturity.
Yeah.
Between the mother and
Well, something
Ralphie.
in the next movie you find out,
really?
and
Okay.
and he basically tells Ralphie, what happened there changed my life.
Yeah.
You know.
Zach. So you've seen the sequel to this?
Yes.
The proper sequel.
Yes.
To this. So you've presumably seen Zach Ward now.
Yes.
He's beautiful.
He looks.
It's really handsome.
He looks just like
But he doesn't look like disgusting Scut Farkas.
Well,
so
no,
much
he
now.
doesn't look
He's
disgusting.
like a
He
proper
doesn't
like leading man looking man
Yeah,
now.
he looks like He's not. He's
I also liked Gene Shepherd as the narrator. I think
Yeah,
that's a really
he has
nice-
a great voice,
He was
doesn't
the writer of the original stories. Yeah, really
he's got a great voice, hasn't he?
sort of soft, aged tone.
Yeah.
which I quite like.
You'd love to hear him like read you a sort of like a Christmas carol sort of thing or something, or the night before Christmas,
Yeah,
something like that, because he's got that sort of voice you could just listen to.
could listen to that all day. Anyway. Warm nostalgic, despite having not lived during this era. There is a universality to it. I think we've all been that kid who wants a particular gift, right?
Yeah.
And you've been denied an item out of responsible adult safety concerns, perhaps. You've always wanted the rollerblades, but the folks are like, no, you'll fall and kill yourself.
Or possibly you've wanted a certain gift and then you've unwrapped it and found out it's not that.
Right.
And you were really excited because you thought it was. You thought it was Snake Mountain.
Oh yeah.
He-Man Snake,
Sure.
and it turned out to be a
nice-
truck, a remote control repair truck.
This is personal experience.
Yes.
Right. We've all had, presumably, those stupid friends who have then
got what you wanted.
Well, no. You probably still have those stupid friends that he has.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You've had a meltdown, presumably, at a department store.
Yeah, I don't know if I've
And
ever
you've
had.
presumably received that terrible gift from your auntie.
Always, yeah. The jumper from my Auntie Margaret. Yeah.
Okay, please describe the jumper.
Well, usually it always was like a sweatshirt that you'd have, and it would have like a little patch on it, and it was the sort of thing that was like beige or a horrible kind of moss greeny sort of colour.
Oh, I quite like moss green.
And it would be something that you wouldn't want to wear, but you know, you'd get it and you'd go, oh, well, I'm going to have to wear it, because especially when Auntie Margaret comes.
When she
you
pops
know.
over
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's itchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to get my Auntie Margaret's picture out when she used to come.
Did you not have Auntie Margaret sat on the shelf?
No, not normally. That was in a drawer. She'd come over for the day, and you'd get it out of the drawer.
I'm so sorry, Auntie Margaret, if you happen to be listening to this. That's a revelation.
Well, this is what my grandmother did.
Okay. It's also really darkly funny. He's blinded by soap.
He is. Yeah, I was going to talk about this. I was going to talk about the dangers of soap poisoning.
Go ahead.
And I have actually experienced...
No, you haven't.
I have actually experienced soap in the mouth.
Oh, okay, but not the blindness.
Yeah, but have you ever had soap put in your mouth?
No.
Well, I have.
Okay.
And it really is not pleasant at all. And some of the things he's
especially
describing...
Especially if it's like liquid soap that you get out of a dispenser.
No, well, it's not that. But I mean, it's years ago. It's like my grandma used to say carbolic. That was one. Carbolic soap.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
That's the industrial stuff.
Yeah, you'll get carbolic soap in the mouth.
That's what mechanics use to get grease out of there, isn't it?
Yeah. That was the fear.
Flick gets stuck to a pole, which I find still amusing.
Oh, a lot of things happen to poor Flick, don't they? He gets his tongue stuck, and then the bullies beat him up, don't they?
Yeah. The dogs eat the Christmas meal.
Oh no, I want to talk about this, right?
Oh, please.
How do the Bumpus's dogs, who you never see?
Yes.
Right? Only the dogs.
There's about 100 dogs.
Right? How did the dogs get in? Because the dogs run past the old man.
Yes.
Who was in the lounge.
Yes.
Now, if the dogs had come through the back door, because the back door was open, the
dogs would have
eaten. The dogs would have eaten the turkey.
They did
first on the way to the lounge.
Okay,
they would, because I know dogs. Dogs would not go, hey, we're going to... You see, they came from their side as if they came through the front door.
Dogs typically think with their stomachs, don't
they?
Yeah.
And if a dog comes, the quickest way to some food would be, you know, oh, all right, we've come through the back door, we're going to eat the turkey now. So the old man should technically have heard a rustle in the kitchen, you know, stuff going on, and then got up and been like, okay, you know, the turkey's been attacked.
Look like a turkey as well. The department store Santa is a bit of a scumbag.
Yeah. Oh, I love it when he's holding on.
The elf kicks it. Is it the elf?
No, Santa. He pushes him with his boot.
Kicks him in the.
Yeah. Your thing.
Can we address the fact that there's a touch of janky racism at the Chinese restaurant when they're you don't necessarily need to make
deck the halls with bells of holly.
Yeah, bit janky.
By today's standards, I think.
Yeah. Not sure that would be in the...
Well, it was made in the 80s. There's stuff you can't get away with now.
I'm not sure you could get away with that in the 80s, could you?
I don't know. Well, they obviously did, didn't they?
What's your favourite scene?
I think my favourite scene is probably the Santa scene, where, you know, all the kids are going up and seeing him and they start crying.
Yeah.
And they get pushed down the slide, and 9 out of 10 of them just have a hissy fit when they get on his knee, and he Santa hands him over get rid of this.
We've all been that kid. That are really, really, when you put into that moment, it's terrifying.
I sat on Santa's knee one time and I got given a gift out of the girl pile. Yes.
Please explain that.
Well, I sat on Santa's knee and I spoke to him. And they said, what would you like for Christmas? And I told him, and then he said, well, yeah, here's your present, and did that.
Did he know? Was that the girl?
No, my mum had to come over and say, oh, he's not a little girl, it's a boy, he's a little boy.
Did he think you were a little girl?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, he thought I was a little girl, and I must have been maybe about 6.
Okay.
So he thought I was a little girl, yeah. Yeah.
Great. Well, I mean, a present's a present regardless.
Well, yeah, but I don't... It was crap anyway. It wasn't a very good. It wasn't a very good present. It was like a colouring book or something. It wasn't very good.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
It wasn't very good.
My absolute favourite scene is one of my all-time favourite scenes in film.
I know which one.
Go on.
It's the one where he's changing the tyre.
I like
he goes,
that.
Fudge.
Oh, fudge.
But he didn't say fudge,
He
did
didn't
he?
say
He
fudge.
said F dash dash dash.
There's a scene when the kids have gone to bed on Christmas Day. It's just a
when they're
stylistic
sitting and
thing.
watching the...
Yeah, where Mother and Father Parker are sitting on the armchair together with the tree illuminated.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Just watching the snow.
Really Christmassy.
It's so well composed.
Yeah.
It's so well timed and placed within the overall...
It's like a Christmas fantasy, really, of what you imagine you'd want to do at Christmas.
It just hits, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just really hits. It's absolutely one of my all-time favourite shots in any film ever.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Just hits. It's so
And
delicate.
it just says
so
Christmas.
elegant.
It says Christmas.
Let's talk about the leg lamp.
Right. The resentment becomes apparent when Ralphie's mother turns off the leg lamp, saying that they don't want to waste electricity.
Yes.
And as they leave their home, the lights are on upstairs in the house.
Oh!
Yeah.
That's subtle. That's good. I like that.
And I love the bit with the old man. It's
that would have been
fragile.
intentional.
Yeah.
That would have been intentional.
Yeah, because she
Bob
resents
Clark would have been like, we're going to do this.
Yeah, she resents the lamp.
That lamp.
Fragile.
Hate that lamp. Fragile.
Yeah, that's Italian. That's Italian, isn't it? Yeah, that and I love it when Gene Shepherd says the soft glow of electric sex, and that lamp is so sexy though, isn't it?
No,
well, it is kind of,
it's
isn't
grotesque.
Yeah,
but I would love one.
It's a major award
because it's a major award. Yeah, I like how he just runs out into the middle of the street and just goes, "Well, it's a major award, lads."
It's a major award, and everybody's staring at it. I would love that lamp.
I would love that lamp.
I think I'm going to see if I can get one of those lamps.
Yes.
Because I would put that in my window, and then all the people around can see the soft glow of electric sex.
Yes.
I'd love to just run my hands up and down it like the old man did.
I mean, what says Christmas better than...
but he won a competition, didn't he? Because he does competitions,
It was a competition in the paper.
In the paper, yeah. That's kind of odd, isn't it?
He could have won 50 grand, is that right?
Right.
Something like that?
Yeah.
But he wound up getting this...
But he was over the moon
lamp.
with it. He was over the moon
What's
with
in it?
Yeah.
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 Okay, so recommendations.
Okay.
I genuinely can't think of one.
I can.
Go on.
8-Bit Christmas.
Okay.
Right. It's basically... It's basically... We'll have to see what we can do about that.
Sorry, listeners.
It's basically an 80s version of A Christmas Story. You've got the kid that wants the prized, item, which is a Nintendo 8-bit NES.
That's the greatest gift you could possibly receive.
Entertainment system, and he's trying to drop hints. He's trying to... I think he tries to win one maybe in it. I mean, it's been a year since I've seen it, I think. But it's very close to A Christmas Story. So that's the only thing that I would say is similar if you're looking for a similar story. If not, I can't really think of anything that... it's a very unique film.
It is.
Yeah.
And they don't make movies like this anymore, and I really wish... I mean, I know that there's a sequel, but with great respect, I haven't seen it, but they genuinely don't make these types of movies anymore.
And also not on like a sort of modern-ish, because 80s, set like back in the 40s or 30s,
Indeed. I'd say like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, because this film is kind of also led into that in my mind. I just had the best.
Gene Wilder is amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. But I think those two kind of go hand in hand, and they don't make those types of movies anymore. And the Tim Burton remake is ghastly.
It is.
I genuinely can't really think of a suitable recommendation, so instead, let's play a game.
Okay.
Guess the Christmas film from the IMDb Parents Guide.
Oh, okay.
You know that? So on IMDb,
right,
as the movie, there's a little thing that on there that says Parents Information or Parents Guide.
Right.
These are warnings to parents about the content of the movies.
Okay, yes.
Question 1.
Yes.
Character puts out milk and cookies for Santa, which are still there the following morning as no one else is in the house. Not really intense as such, but could spoil the magic for kids that believe in Santa if they happen to notice. What's the film?
They're still left there in the house.
Character puts out milk and cookies for Santa, which are still there the following morning as no one else is in the house. Not really intense as such, but could spoil the magic for kids that still believe in Santa if they happen to notice. Just take a guess.
Santa Claus a movie?
Home Alone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
I didn't really think of that.
Okay. Character gets into a fight with Santa at the department store because he believes he's an imposter. There is some punching and kicking,
yes,
but
I know.
no blood or gore.
I know. Elf.
Yep. Ding!
The beef and cheese.
There we are.
You smell the beef and cheese. You're not Santa.
It's Artie Lang, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so. After a squirrel and a dog maul a woman, she goes next door to her boyfriend and punches him in the face.
Oh, I know this one. This is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
2 out of 3 people.
Yeah.
Right, bonus round.
Okay.
A pharmacist mistakenly sends poison to a customer. The mistake is caught before anybody is hurt, but in the alternate version, a reference is made to the people being poisoned.
I know. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, boy. So, what verdict? What would you give?
What Wonderful Life? No, what? Oh, what would I give?
What would you give A Christmas Story?
Definitely 2 out of 3.
Okay.
You know,
I think it's delightful. I think it's timeless. It's big.
Right.
We're big.
This tango is big. It's big. We're big.
The Night Before is a 2015 Christmas comedy caper directed by Jonathan Levine, boasting a stellar cast including the likes of Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, Anthony Mackie, Lizzie Kaplan, Gillian Bell, Mindy Kaling, Michael Shannon, and cameos from the likes of Miley Cyrus, Tracy Morgan, James Franco, Nathan Fielder, among others. JGL's Ethan Miller is orphaned when his parents perish in a tragic car accident. His best friend's Isaac, portrayed by Seth Rogen,
Funny Rogen,
and Chris Roberts, played by Anthony Mackie, duly seek to spend every Christmas Eve with him so that he will not be alone. It is here that the trio learn about the ultra-exclusive Nutcracker Ball, although they are never able to find it. This year, they finally choose to close the tradition, with Isaac now preparing to settle with his family and Chris becoming a big-time football
Falcon's
player.
got himself a football deal.
With the Falcons.
With the Falcons, yeah.
Though struggling musician Ethan is unable to let the tradition go. While working a temp job, Ethan happens to stumble and steal 3 tickets to the ball. Ethan presents his friends with the tickets and off they go with a lovely box of drugs in hand. Thus begins a bizarre journey, encountering a wizened, terrifying former school teacher turned drug dealer, several bad trips, the most inappropriate text conversation with the wrong telephone, an impromptu meal with Chris's mother, a scheming thief who masquerades as a fan, a Red Bull limo, and more. What do you think?
I love it. I love it. It's horrible.
It's horrific, yeah.
It's like it's like the reverse of A Christmas Story. All the innocence and charm and
certainly not innocent.
It's like the antithesis of that, isn't it?
But I think that much like A Christmas Story before it, this is essentially a collection of stories or little vignettes, right? Sort of strung together.
Yeah.
It's a funny, surreal at times, drug-fueled story of friendship and family.
Yes.
And I think the various obstacles bring.
And his friends
those
become
friends
like
together.
over the years because he loses his parents. His friends become his family.
Becomes surrogate.
Yeah. And basically say because friends do. If you've known friends for a long time, they do technically. You learn to love them and they're your family.
Wagwan blood.
Yeah.
So we have. Okay, I've got to talk about certain bits. The perilous sleigh ride. Following the Red Bull limo crash. I love that.
Can I mention,
please,
a film that came into my mind when this happened?
What's that?
Dragged Across Concrete.
Okay.
That's what happened to him.
God.
That's what happened to him.
That's a film to bring up, isn't it, during Christmas?
I was just watching it and I was thinking, he literally was dragged across concrete.
Quite literally, yeah.
Yeah.
The majority of the funny stuff centres around Seth Rogen being absolutely caned out of his mind on various substances. My favourite bit in the whole film is the chat he has with Jesus.
Oh, yes.
Display
Spencer.
Jesus.
Spencer. Oh, he loves Spencer. He asks, can I pet your dogs?
Indeed.
And they're like, oh, we love this, wouldn't they?
Oh, God. And obviously the wonderfully inappropriate text conversation he has with the... we won't talk about what that is because this is a... Okay. We have to keep this kind of clean.
Can we mention it's about genitals?
You just did.
Okay.
I liked Joseph Gordon-Levitt's karaoke thing.
Oh, that was good, wasn't it?
It was amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, the actors would have had to rehearse that whole dancing and everything.
There's a whole
so that was
scheme there, that was really impressive. Actually.
And that's a great song by Run DMC. So
I know it's my favourite Christmas song. So, what are your favourite bits?
Well, I love the big moment because nothing says Christmas like Kanye, baby.
Yeah. I was thinking, are they going to do the theme that they do in Big... No. Here we go.
No, yeah.
That's a choice, especially in 2020, knowing what Kanye's been through this year.
I think it's just like loads of bits that I love, like when that song's going on, they go through to the Chinese and Seth Rogen is like walking past and he's like pointing to the rabbis that he's wearing a Star of David jumper.
Yeah.
And like,
That's
you know,
pretty
he's
good.
like pointing and the rabbis are like nodding like, yeah, boy, you know, one of our own. And
He's one of us.
yeah, I for some reason, I'm not a huge fan of Seth Rogen.
When did you first see this film?
I saw this film about 2017, maybe.
Okay, so
Yeah.
relatively fresh.
Yeah,
It's nearly
yeah.
10 years. It's
Right.
nearly 10 years.
When was it made? Was it 2015?
2015. And
Yeah,
it's 2023 in about a week.
I couldn't actually believe that I like how much I enjoyed it.
Yes.
I've watched it. I think I've watched it on Prime or something, and on Amazon Prime, and I was like, wow, I really liked that. And the thing is, none of the actors I'm really that fond of.
Okay.
In other, you know, like Seth Rogen, I'm not a really big fan of his
Yeah.
comedy. I don't really like Pineapple Express and all that other. James Franco, I can give it, you know, I can
Take it or leave
take it or leave it.
He's a troublesome character. I think it's really stylish.
Yeah.
And I love the needle drops. It's a fun
Yeah.
watch, and it does get you into the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
I'm personally very glad that you actually got me to see this, as I tend to stay away from Seth Rogen films.
Yeah, well, so do I. And I'm not really the biggest fan of JGL either.
I'm not the biggest fan of those improvisational humour
Yeah.
films. Do you know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
they're kind of, you can tell that they're sort of riffing on the spot.
Yeah.
The female-centric Ghostbusters reboot completely turned me off of that style of comedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed this a lot.
Oh, good.
And I enjoyed it specifically, not only because it's silly, but the chemistry between those three leads.
Yeah,
As
you
say,
believe they're
don't-
friends, don't you?
You don't necessarily like JGL. I'm not the biggest fan of Seth Rogen's work. I'm sure he's a lovely man.
Yeah, he seems good.
But these three together, I'm like, I don't really want to see them. But yeah, it kind of works.
Yeah,
The
it really
chemistry's
works.
Excellent.
Which is odd because they're kind of three actors that you wouldn't imagine
Yeah.
would sort of work really well together.
Yeah,
Especially the bit where you don't remember where Anthony Mackie says, "Man, you need to check myself.
check yourself before you're ready.
I need to check myself before I wreck myself."
So good.
How do you think someone feels when they're told they might wreck themselves?
The three characters, certainly those three actors, kind of really balance out the film really well.
Have you ever told somebody they might wreck themselves?
I've said that yeah. Check yourself, but also legit to quit. I think the three leads kind of really work together really well and really kind of bring something. I like the characters.
Yeah.
They're not the easiest characters to sort of
And
like,
they're
but
sort
I
of
do like
quite
them,
weird because it's
which
like
is
you've got one
contradictory, I suppose.
that's you've got like one that's the family man,
Yes.
and then you've got the professional man,
You got the professional.
and the guy that really doesn't know what he's doing. He's sort of floating.
But they all bring their own sensibilities
Yeah.
to the role. And I
Yeah.
like that. And it kind of balances out really well because otherwise it'd be two this way or two that way.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be against I wouldn't be against a sequel or a
Right.
spin-off of this.
Okay. Well, that's good. No, I would definitely watch it.
Specifically, Michael Shannon's
Oh,
Mr. Green.
Mr. Green.
I
Yes.
would love a spin-off or some sort of sequel based on.
He
on
was
that
fabulous
character.
in that, though, wasn't he?
Steals the show.
He
in my
does.
opinion.
And he's always his very. I mean, I'm not saying this about him.
I like the
because
Gatsby reference as well. If you,
Oh yes.
Yeah.
He's a sucker for Leo. Isn't
Oh,
he?
I love
like
that.
me.
there we are.
But he's got that sinister thing, hasn't he? You know.
He's terrified.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But he brings something else to the table as well. It's not all one avenue.
I'm
which
sure in real life he's not like that, but
sure he's a lovely man.
I do like the martini
Yes.
and the drop of Isaac's blood that makes it a crantini. Tastes like pennies.
It's like, is that your blood in this?
Yeah,
Tastes like
it tastes like pennies.
yeah, I love the
GoldenEye. What do you think of GoldenEye and the N64?
Oh yeah, I appreciate that because that
was-
would have been around his era, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I remember. Do you know I used to play GoldenEye, right?
I used to play GoldenEye
I
all
was
the time.
I was such a wimp that I used to. There was one level that I used to go in an office and just stand behind the door and shoot the soldiers as they came in, and I wouldn't play the level. I just wait for the soldiers to come in and just constantly
You know,
shoot
it's
them.
just a game, and you can do
Yeah,
whatever you like.
I know.
Yeah, love the characters. Wasn't expecting Miley Cyrus to just randomly pop
No.
up, and she's really good.
Oh, and Miley was flawless.
She's good. She's
That's
good
what he
in-
says, doesn't he?
Yeah, she's good.
Come
in
on, Miley
everything,
was
to be fair.
flawless. What do you think of the baby? When it was split, F you. Damn, that was good, wasn't it?
I like the derogatory term he calls the baby in the video.
Yes.
Which is, again, we'll keep it
We
clean.
can't really say that, but
But yeah, I love all the
yeah.
characters. I love that they're rounded characters as well. I like that, as you say, like JGL can't get right.
yeah,
But he ends up kind of reconciling with his lady friend Diana,
Yeah.
which is wonderful because you know he's on the right path.
yeah,
I like that Isaac is completely full of doubts. I like that the majority of awful things happen to him based on the fact that he's...
What about the bit in the toilet where he talks to his mobile phone and he basically calls his child a see you next Tuesday?
Indeed,
Yeah.
we've just referenced that. But he becomes a father, and it's,
Yeah.
he's got a great life ahead of him.
Yeah.
Chris seemingly has it all, but he's on possibly on steroids.
I think it is steroids. Yeah, he's shooting steroids, isn't he?
But he's confronted into dealing with that,
Yeah.
and I like that.
If
'Cause
there's any
again,
women
there's
out there
all-
that want to, see Anthony Mackie's pert behind,
It's a beautiful bum.
yeah, this is the place to see it. That'll be your Christmas treat.
Yeah, a real festive potential,
Yeah,
a film that
It's-
you're going to probably watch.
It's
every
like an
year now.
alternative Christmas film, isn't it? One
Yeah.
that's not wholesome,
Yeah, a bit more.
although it has a
adult.
wholesome-ish ending, really. So
Yeah, it
yeah.
ends on a real positive note.
yeah. And I love Tracy Morgan as Santa.
Santa, yeah.
He's great. I love.
I just love Tracy Morgan's voice.
He's got a great voice, hasn't he?
He's got that kind of
yeah.
New York. No, is it North New York?
don't know,
Yonkers
it's-
kind of accent, isn't it?
Yeah,
Which anyway.
and it's really loud and brash.
So recommendations based on this.
I would
film.
say Office Christmas Party.
Oh, good show.
Yeah.
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 It's probably easier to recommend movies based on this one.
Yeah, and the other one I got is A Bad Mom's Christmas.
I haven't seen that.
Well, there's a film called
I know
Bad
of it, but I've
Moms.
not seen
Well,
it.
there's
What-
A
how
Bad
is-
Mom's Christmas. It's
Okay.
got Catherine Hahn in it. I got a soft spot for her.
Who doesn't?
No.
I think you have to consider the other Rogan Goldberg films because they
Right.
kind of do share that.
Yeah.
Any adult-leaning Christmas films such as Bad Santa, Scrooge, Trading Places, anything.
Oh,
like that,
yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
Verdict.
I would say, well, I actually think it's 3 stars.
Okay. So you.
I would say it's big. We're big.
Thank you, Chris. I'd go 2 out of 3. I liked it.
Okay.
I don't think it's a masterpiece by any stretch. I couldn't put it on that level, to be fair.
Right.
But I enjoyed it, and it got me into the festival.
It's one that I have to watch every year, so I'm going to say that it is.
I think
it's
this
not
is-
a masterpiece,
No,
but
by
it
any
is
stretch,
it's an
but-
essential for me every year.
Well, it gets you in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
I think. And that
And it's funny, so you're going to watch it, you're going to have a drink, you're going to enjoy it, you're going to laugh. It's dirty. It's for adults.
It's not for kids.
No, it's not for kids. It's for adults, and it's just a good time.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
So, are there any Christmas films that you would sort of recommend, or what do you typically watch at Christmas?
Well, I watch Nightmare Before Christmas, definitely.
Okay.
So that's one of my favourites.
Do you have like a Christmas Eve movie?
Yes, usually it is Nightmare Before Christmas that I will watch on New Year's. Oh, and Holiday Inn.
Oh,
Holiday
wow.
Inn. Yeah,
Well, that's
I
a bit
love
left field.
watching.
Okay.
Yeah, I love watching a
They're
Holiday
two
Inn.
very different Christmas movies.
They are, yeah. Fred Claus, I quite like.
I hate
Do you?
Fred Claus.
Oh, okay.
Why? What do you like about Fred Claus?
It's a funny movie, isn't it? It's quite a funny movie, and
I feel quite the opposite. I find it also really creepy, but I do like tiny Ludacris.
right. Oh yes, he's amazing, isn't he? He's amazing in that. He gets stuck in the cup. I like Elf. Elf
Okay.
is
Not the biggest fan of Elf.
no.
No,
Oh,
sorry.
but they go bye buddy.
I just find it really annoying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I do like Elf, and another one that I really like
National
is
Lampoons.
yeah, I do like that. I won't watch it every year.
Okay, fair enough.
I definitely like Santa Claus the movie.
Yes,
It's one of my
you
favourites.
You turned me onto that.
Yeah, Santa Claus
that's
the
a
movie is
heck
one
of
of
a film.
I went to cinema to see that when I was a child,
Oh, wow.
and I absolutely loved it.
Oh, okay.
And I used to watch it on Christmas Eve when I was a kid on television.
Okay.
And it used to make me feel so Christmassy watching it because it is. And David Hasselhoff, he's the most amazing Santa Claus.
Do you have any films that are not Christmas movies that you watch during Christmas?
Yes. I will watch on Christmas morning, usually in the early hours.
Is it Yu-Gi-Oh?
It's Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie,
Good God.
circa 2004.
I always watch Dario Argento's Tenebrae. We have got an episode on Tenebrae if you want to know my thoughts. I don't know when that started, but it just sort of happened.
No, I don't know why I started watching Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah,
The movie,
right.
because there's nothing Christmassy about the
Do you
film.
have any
at
other
all.
movies like? Because I always watch like Mary Poppins, or I always watch like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, or
Right,
something like that. Or certainly Willy Wonka.
Not usually over Christmas. I'll usually watch whatever Christmas movies
Happens to be on telly or
happens to
something.
be on like Netflix. So
Or
I mean, like this
streaming.
Christmas Eve, I'll probably watch Glass Onion.
Yes,
the
I'm looking
Knives
forward
Out
to that, yeah.
film.
Looking forward to that. I have not had. It's not that I haven't had time. It's that I'd rather watch something that's a bit shorter,
Right. Well, it is. Yeah, it's going to be quite a long one.
so
But
I can then get on with my business.
Yeah,
and
but-
play Quake on Switch because
I think
pathetic.
Christmas Eve last year I watched Don't Look Up. So that was my Christmas Eve movie.
Well, that's a treat. I hated that film.
I couldn't wait to see it because Leo.
Yeah, sure, it's got a heck of a cast.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a good pedigree with
Yeah.
Adam McKay. Indiana Jones, but I've already watched those.
Yeah. Usually New Year I will watch Citizen Kane. I always like to watch that on
Oh.
on New Year's Eve or
Do you have-
on
Do you have
New
any
Year's Day in the early hours.
Christmas movie recommendations that people probably don't know about?
Not. I wouldn't know. I'd say there's not many that. I mean, like
There's
The
not
Night
many that you would
Before is
recommend. Yeah,
obviously a
it's
film
a bit of
that
a sleeper, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit of a sleeper one. I don't think so. No, I mean to be
Do you
honest,
watch Batman Returns over this period?
no.
Do you
never.
not?
No, never.
Oh,
I
it's such a good Christmas movie.
watch it any other time of the year, but I never watch it around Christmas for some reason.
Die Hard?
I will watch Die Hard sometimes, but I watch that any time of the year, really.
Okay, I suppose
So,
it's not all year, isn't it,
Gremlins.
really?
That's
Gremlins.
yes,
Oh.
Gremlins. You can watch that any time of the year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just those. I mean, you could watch The Shining.
You could watch
Isn't
Shining.
that set in December?
It's set around the winter, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's the most Christmassy of films.
Well, you can make it a Christmas film.
Spousal abuse,
You can make it a Christmas film.
addiction, spousal abuse, trauma. Yeah, there's such Christmassy themes. It really gets you in the festive spirit. I'd recommend. There are plenty of like Christmassy movies. I mean,
Yeah.
I've already,
The Grinch.
the
Jim
Grinch.
Carrey's
Yeah,
Grinch.
and have you seen the Benedict
No,
Cumberbatch
I've
one?
no, I've not seen that one yet.
It's
Have
not
you?
on my list. No.
No.
But I mean, Trading Places is
Trading Places.
fantastic.
That is a Christmassy film and a New Year film. So it's set over Christmas and New Year, isn't it?
It's an all-year film
Yes.
that lives
Yeah.
in art. Certainly Scrooged. I have a soft spot
Yeah.
for. I mean, I every year watch It's a Wonderful Life. I know that you're not the biggest fan.
I'm
of-
not.
Why do you not like that movie?
It's very naive, isn't it?
I've been very naive.
Well, it's very naive. It's it's got angels talking to each other.
Right,
and-
in the last like 10 minutes
Mm.
it's really uplifting, but before that there's, as I've said, there's poisoning. There's
Well, no, yeah, it is.
he's literally about to kill himself.
His life is in the toilet.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like how is that naive?
Maybe I
It's so miserable up
Maybe I
until
didn't
like the
watch
last
it in the right
15 minutes or
headspace.
whatever.
Maybe I don't know.
I'd
Sometimes
recommend
you
it.
can watch a film and you're not in the right headspace for it.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful sort of bookend movie to close the year out with,
Mm.
I think, and that's why I always watch it. It's such an uplifting film.
Have you ever thought about watching Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie too?
Have you
To
ever thought
bookend.
of watching Tenebrae on Christmas morning?
No, and I couldn't even imagine it because when I watched it, I was like, "Yeah, this doesn't really make me feel very Christmassy at all."
Any terrible Christmas presents you can remember receiving?
Oh, well, I said that what do you call it? Like a breakdown truck, a remote control breakdown truck.
Okay.
I got when I was
Is it
about
because okay? Do you not like the truck, or do you not like?
I didn't like
fact
the truck.
But did you have your hopes up thinking that's about the right size for that gift that I want?
No, I thought it was going to be Snake Mountain.
Right.
I was
so
so
you built
excited.
up
Yeah.
thinking that all that
Snake
gift
Mountain.
under there is
Yeah.
Snake Mountain,
Yeah.
and we opened it up as a truck. So it's a
Yeah.
perfectly fine truck, but you
Oh
just
yeah, it
kind
was
of
perfectly fine, but
right. But you had your hopes up for thinking it was this.
I had my hopes up one Christmas of getting Big Track. If you remember that,
no.
Big Track was like the sort of tanky thing that you could program.
Okay.
It's like a little
Commands or
robot thing.
Okay.
That you could program in on the top buttons,
Right.
and you would make it go forward and then to the left and all this sort of thing. You used to be able to get like a sort of trailer that went with it as well, so you could, as a kid, you could put like an apple in the back. I think in the advert, you could put an apple in the back, and it
Cool.
could tote your apple around.
Cool.
But you had to program it all with. They've got a little pamphlet.
Yeah. With
and-
commands, I guess.
With what?
With like the commands that you need to
Yeah,
enter.
yeah.
Right.
With the buttons that you need to do to get it to go forward and then to the left or to
Right.
the right.
To the
and-
left, to the
yeah. My friend Charles that lived across the street.
Oh, Charlie.
He got one.
What happened to Charlie though?
I don't know what happened to Charlie. I don't know. He moved away. His parents split and he moved away.
Oh dear.
I've
Okay.
never
Sorry,
been able
Charlie.
I've never been able to track him down, unfortunately, either. So I wonder whether either he's changed his name or he might be deceased now.
Or he's just not on social media.
True, I'm not.
There you are.
I'm only on Letterboxd, so. I am on Instagram.
I can't, apart from maybe the odd bit of clothing that I've just thought, oh God, I can't think of any bad gifts. I'm always quite grateful for people to think of me and give me something, to be fair.
No, I've always had these gifts where like I've imagined I've got something and then I haven't got it, or it's been a birthday where I've come downstairs and I've been so excited and I've been like, oh great, it's medieval Lego castle.
That's awesome. Why would you not love?
Well, I didn't really want it, and then my mum tells me, oh, by the way, and you've got to go to school now. I'm like, oh yes, on my birthday, you know.
Oh, okay, because your
So I can't
birthday's
even- yeah.
your birthday is the end of January.
Yeah, so it's the end of January. I remember one day I wanted a Cabbage Patch Kid, and I was so excited to run downstairs and open my Cabbage Patch Kid. I got downstairs and it wasn't there.
Hold on, callback.
What?
So Cabbage Patch Kids were mainly sort of for young ladies, weren't they?
They were, but
And
my friend
Santa-
Charles...
And Santa gave you a lady gift.
No, Santa didn't. This was for my birthday, but my friend Charles did
Right.
get one, I think, for Christmas.
Right.
And he's had a Dallas Cowboy, you know, the team,
Wow,
on his
okay.
boy Cabbage Patch. So I was like, well, if my friend Charles has got a Cabbage Patch Kid, a boy, I can have one because it's obviously okay.
Right.
You know?
There's so much of your life to unpack, isn't there?
There is, isn't there?
I was John, he was...
Jason.
Join us again on our next episode where we'll be discussing 2 wonderful abominations. Tommy Wiseau's The Room from 2003 and DOA Dead or Alive from 2006. On behalf of Take Two, thank you for listening. We wish you good health and happiness.
And if you want to find us on Letterboxd...
How are they going to find you?
Oh, how are they going to find me? Well, I'm Kerjarelon. That's KERJA_RELON.
I'm Rat Bastard. Okay, love you.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.